While people are running around holding scissors face up, and these are scissors of defectiveness, you're just balling it up. You're living your life. You're doing your best. And sure, there may be some mistakes made along the way, but generally, you're actually giving a crap about what you're doing. You're actually okay with your progress. And even if you're not okay with your progress, you know that you're making changes to be in accordance to that which you want to succeed. And then they can't handle the results. And it's not just your results, it's their results. They cannot handle the consequences of their actions. And you showed them that you had the light. And now you're the one that got away. You might have been the only light in some of these people's lives. And yet, there they were, and there they are, seeing you now, seeing what could have been, seeing what might have been. And you don't want to say it. You don't want to say, I told you so, but I told you so. You know, and everybody needs the light. Everybody needs to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But for the most part, the chosen ones actually, all in all, chosen ones are not hiding anything. There's no need to hide. Are you going to keep me in the dark or not? Are you going to be transparent or not? When it comes to questions that you want to ask these kinds of people, or at least ask them internally. You know, if you are someone that wants to build something and you don't know whether or not the people that you're working with or the people that you're around are hiding anything or not, well, that's the first sign that you're in the wrong place. And then the second sign is if they are delusional. And how do you know if they're delusional? Well, I've noticed over the past few years, the more that I ascend, the more that I realize when I'm in the presence of somebody that is delusional. And the reason that I notice it is because my whole cognitive ability starts to shift, and it's almost like I genuinely cannot think clearly around these kinds of people because they're not thinking clearly. And how are you going to reason with someone, with anyone that is in a delusional state of mind? And the truth of the matter is they're in awe of your light. Especially when you've gotten to the point to where you've worked on yourself, to the point to where you know what you're capable of, and you know exactly what you need to do to thrive. You may not be perfect. Again, you may make mistakes still. But you're a professional at everything that you do. And you're a professional at everything that you put your mind to. A lot of the times people just want the benefits of spiritual practice and the fruits that they bear without actually putting in the work. And so I want to read a verse from Proverbs 6:23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching is a light, and reproofs for discipline are the way of life." So what exactly does that mean? The commandment, so that which you are being shown to do or being guided to do by God, That's the commandment. The teaching is what happens after you make the decision to follow through on the commandment or not. And then the latter, where it says, and reproofs for discipline are the way of life. Discipline is going to free you from the constructs of your own illusions. And discipline is also going to dissolve the insecurities that you have. Because when you start to really place an emphasis on the, I guess you could say, the production quality of your life in general, and this is just you as a human being. This doesn't necessarily have to do with like anything apart from your spiritual practice. But when you put in the actual effort and the actual discipline to really reshape and change your behaviors, that's when things will actually start to change for you. And it can be very, very irritating to be around certain people. Like, I know I felt this sometimes in my community. And when I was growing up and throughout the times where I've lived over the past few years, it's like you just start to get fed up with the people around you. And it's not because you hate them. It's just like, what am I supposed to do with you guys? Like, what am I supposed to do with you? Y'all can't do anything that without sinning, it seems like. And a lot of people, this is another thing. A lot of people think in order to like have fun or to enjoy life, to be in joy, you have to sin. You have to be in the dark. And it's like, why do you have to do that? Discipline is going to be the key to your spiritual life in one form or another. And so when you are able to apply discipline to your life, whether it's your food that you're eating, whether it's actually going to the gym, getting up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time, doing what you have to do even when you just don't want to do it. That's what it means to be disciplined. And also just being sexually disciplined as well. It can be very challenging to not want to get the attention of other people if you were in a traumatic situation in your childhood where you had to do things that were very, I guess you could say, incomprehensible to and disrespectful toward yourself in order to get the attention that you wanted and felt like you deserved. The problem with that is that as you grow older, the more that you're conditioned to stay in those kinds of mindsets, the harder it's going to be to let go of them. And this is something else I've come to realize within the modern dating scene, especially with the last video that I did and just my experiences in general. It's like, you know how women usually expect men to do certain things, right? Like men are expected to, if there's a burglar or something in the house, men are supposed to go fight that burglar, right? So the men is naturally inclined to be and have this expectation of being a protector and a provider. Whereas women do not have that same kind of expectation. It's like women don't need to be expected to do womanly things like cooking or cleaning anymore. And I'm not even saying that like you like you're not a man if you cook or clean. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. I think everybody should learn how to cook or clean for that matter. But it's like how are you supposed to expect the men to be of a certain caliber and to have a certain kind of fortitude of mind, and yet not expect, or not respect, rather, those same kind of conditions in your life as a woman? And I noticed there was a few different comments on the last video from people from out of the country, out of the United States. And one of the comments was about being in Indonesia and how, like, it's very natural for the men to just be men. It's like, well, that's great. That's great to hear. Here in America, it's not really the same thing anymore. Like, feminism has really changed the whole dynamic of relationships, and it's also changed the whole dynamic of, you know what it is? We've raised women to be defective men in America. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And we've raised men to be poor excuses for women in America. That's really what's going on. And so here you are with your light. You're actually a feminine woman, or you're actually a masculine man in Satan's land for all intents and purposes. And some people are going to be very nervous about it and around you, especially if you have angels with you. And angels are, you can think of angels to be spiritual entities that want to guide you in the right direction for God's purpose. And these kinds of angels are talked about in the Bible, very much so. And so when you're around people that have demons, and you're around people that harbor and cater to the demons within them and the sins that the demons are telling them to commit to, it's very, very, very challenging for them to be around you because it irritates the demons. But fortunately, your godliness, we can call it, will, with the light, be this beacon. And there's another verse I wanted to share here. And yes, this is Matthew 5:14. It says, "You are the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden." So what exactly does that mean? Because those are Jesus' words. It means that the chosen, the people that are actually filled with God's Spirit, they can't hide. They don't need to hide. A lot of the times the chosen have their heart on their sleeve, and they're very passionate, and they may seem very intense to some certain kinds of people, but you're going to be intense to the people that are average. Like, what else do you want to, what else are you going to do about it? What are you going to say? But the main thing here that you want to understand is that no matter what happens, in the light is where we're all going, and everybody does need the light. And so sometimes it may feel as though you're just bleeding out your heart and your spirit and getting not much in return. But if you're doing that which is pleasing to God, you need not worry. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And if you're interested in a consultation, please email me in the link below. And until next time, peace be with you.